A journey beyond your wildest nightmares. Welcome to Should You Watch This with the Popcorn Priest, the weekly podcast where movie enthusiasts, current and ex-movie theater projectionists, new and old friends, take the time to talk about a movie that we just watched and answer that very question, should or shouldn't you watch this? From animation... Okay, I'm going to do the trailer because there is no trailer, so I have to do a live trailer. You ready for this?
This is gonna be good.
There is a trailer.
So, but there's no.
The movie doesn't have any dialogue.
Yeah, it's
so
just
there's nothing in the trailer. But
it's
music.
just music. So
set
I'm gonna
to imagery. So you're gonna be like a whatchamacallit.
Yeah,
Descriptive services.
Yeah, closed captioning.
Yeah.
And I also am I'll add the eerie music underneath this in post.
That's what I was going to suggest. Your new name was Christopher Closed Captioning Compton.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So here we go. From animation pioneer Phil Tippett, Academy Award winner for Star Wars and Jurassic Park, comes a nightmare 30 years in the making. Join us for sensory delight for the eyes and mind. Mad God from 2021. You've never seen anything like it, says ScreenRealm.com. Joining me today is Brain Rap Marines, AK Up in the Air Cole, and Noble Gas Tribe.
It was Ride Like the Wind, right? Wasn't it?
Ride Like the Wind Cole.
No, Ride Like the Wind Tribe. Remember?
No, you actually said it was Normal Guy Tribe.
I did, and then you found that picture that made me feel bad about myself.
Oh yeah, we found an image online of a young Christopher Cross.
Yeah.
Oh, I totally forgot about that.
And if you want to hear, or if you want to see what
if you
our
want
good
to see
friend
Taylor's twin brother,
Taylor looks like,
Yeah.
exactly, it's Christopher Cross in his youth.
Chris.
I have sent that to multiple people like blindly, and they're like, "Oh, I thought that was you. Are you playing guitar now?" And I'm like, "No, I'm not."
I sent
Ride
that to
like
Megan and
the
Jenny,
wind.
and they were like, "Oh my god!"
I know.
exactly like Taylor.
It threw me when I saw it. I had like an existential crisis for like a day.
I'm sorry.
Is the simulation broken, or is this
no,
just me?
It's not right.
Well, welcome to the show, gentlemen. Ride Like the Wind Tribe. This has been a long time coming.
Sing like Christopher Tribe.
Apart from the 30 years it took to make it, we've been trying to watch this for many months. So enjoy. The description for this one is: the assassin travels through a nightmare underworld of tortured souls, ruined cities, and wretched monstrosities forged from the primordial horrors of the unconscious mind of Phil Tippett, the world's preeminent stop motion animator.
Top stop motion.
Top stop motion animator. Directed by the aforementioned Phil Tippett and also written by Phil Tippett.
And there was about 8 other jobs he had there on the credits too.
Yeah, many, many jobs. And this was a pick from Ride Like the Wind Tribe.
That's right.
Why did you select this film?
I had buzz. People were talking about it on Twitter. I didn't actually look into it. I just heard it was good and that I should watch it. And I was like, fine. That sounds fine.
Sometimes throwing caution to the wind works.
This was previous to Twitter's.
But yeah, recent. Yeah,
Recent
Well, I mean, yeah, it was a
lapse.
couple months ago. It was when it was like on Netflix for like 2 weeks.
It was actually on Netflix?
I think so.
Because it's now on
Now
Shudder.
it's Shudder, and they paid to make it, or they bought the distribution rights to it. So yeah.
Yeah, well, while we're talking about it, where to watch this, at the time of this recording, you can stream this on Shudder with a Shudder subscription, or purchase the digital copy from your preferred purveyor of digital media. If you choose the highest tier of our Patreon account, you'll have access to the Popcorn Priest Permanent Collection. Go to patreon.com/Popcorn Priest for details. I forgot to say that the top billed stars are Alex Cox and Nikita Roman.
Yeah.
Satish Ratakanda. Satish Ratakanda.
This is better than the movie.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Runtime of 1 hour and 23 minutes, which I think is perfect.
I could have watched a 6-hour version. That show was nuts.
I don't know about 6 hours.
I don't know that you could have. Yeah, with the type of movie it is, I don't think you could do it. But I mean,
But I could have it could have kept going and I would have enjoyed it. It was really kind of mesmerizing.
yeah, that is. I mean, yeah, but I don't know if they could have kept that up, like in terms of like being like visually interesting that long.
4 hours and I still haven't blinked.
Yeah.
I put rated R, but it's not rated. It's just.
But it's very.
It's
violent.
not for kids. Kids won't even like it. I mean.
Well, a lot of adults will be confused as heck.
Yeah, I mean, it's like there's a reason this wasn't a theatrical release. I don't think it would have worked as like a wide release.
I did look that up, and it was released in 2 theaters.
No, that makes sense to me. Like for like Oscar consideration and stuff like that.
Did you see that there's the 3 other pieces that were released in previous years?
Yeah, there was like snippets. I'll get to that in a little bit. But the genre on Rotten Tomatoes says horror fantasy.
If you like things on Shudder, I mean, this fits in perfectly with their type of demographic too. The content that they have.
In terms of imagery, yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, it's for sure
Odd
meant
horror
for
film.
them.
Yeah.
IMDb says animation, fantasy, and horror. So I looked this up. This is kind of a staple now for us, mainly because there's 2 genres that I haven't read about.
Right.
This is the IMDb rubric.
Their rubric
Yes.
for genre.
So here, I'm going to read to you horror and animation.
Alrighty.
Okay. And examples of each. So horror should contain numerous consecutive scenes of characters affecting a terrifying and or repugnant narrative
That's about 80% of the film.
throughout the title.
Yeah, there you go.
Note, not to be confused with thriller, which is not usually based in fear or abhorrence.
More just anxiety.
Examples are The Shining, Halloween from 1978, and A Quiet Place from 2018.
That's quite the weird
I
exchange.
don't know about that, but
I never saw it. But,
Quiet-
I mean, it had like monsters.
it's not horror.
Yeah.
I don't believe.
It's got monsters. I don't know. I didn't see it. I can't say.
All right, here's the other category that we haven't had on the show is animation. So here's IMDb's.
See, now that's interesting because I don't know that this one might get excluded from if the Academy considerations, depending, because it does have some live action stuff.
I think it's a percentage. I think it has to be like.
Then again, yeah, I guess
85%.
Wall-E had like
But this year they
stuff in
let
it, so I don't know.
Marcel the Shell, and then there was one other one that was like half and half qualify as animation. So they're like getting looser on the rules.
Marcel the Shell looks really cool.
Uh-huh.
So here's animation. And this goes into what Cole just said. Over 75% of the title's running time should have scenes that are wholly or part animated.
Oh, okay. So Avatar.
Any form of animation is acceptable. Example, hand-drawn, computer-generated, stop motion, etc.
Avatar. But I guess maybe that's motion capture.
Puppetry does not count as animation unless a form of animation such as stop motion is also applied. Incidental animated sequences should be indicated with the keywords part animated or animated sequences instead. Although the overwhelming majority of the video games are a form of animation, it's okay to forego this genre when adding them as this is implied by the title type.
Oh, so you don't add video games and say this is animation is a genre.
Yes, I don't know. It's so weird. Examples are Spirited Away,
Correct.
The Lion King,
Oh, yep.
and The Simpsons.
Yep. 100%. All of them.
1987.
All 3 of those.
Speaking of IMDb, the rating they give is 6.8 out of 10 from 8.2 thousand reviews. Rotten Tomatoes, what do you think the critic ratings? There's 80 critic ratings.
I bet it was pretty high. I'm gonna say
85%.
Yeah.
93.
90. I was going to say 90, yeah.
And where do you think the audience rating of only 100 plus
60.
reviews?
Oh, like 45%. I bet you people weren't sure what to make of it.
67%.
Yeah.
Very close. Let's get into one of the newer categories of should you watch this with Popcorn Reviews the Reviews.
Yes.
All right, this is where I select some of the top rated ratings and some of the lower rated ratings
From users?
just users.
Okay.
On IMDb or Rotten Tomatoes, depending on which ones are the funniest. These are the ones I've selected.
Can you imagine someone who'd like, yeah, well, okay.
And they're all listening, so get ready.
Yeah, no.
Bizarre and grotesque post-apocalyptic stop motion, says Red Barracuda. This is what he says. Wow. Work on this one began in 1987 and took over 30 years to complete. That alone marks this bit of stop motion as a film worth considering. But is it worth viewing otherwise? I would have to say yes. But under no illusion, this is not a film for everyone.
That is correct.
There is no dialogue. So events on screen are propelled by imagery and sound alone. And it's not honestly always easy to keep up with what is happening and why. 7 out of 10 stars.
I like the exasperated tone there at the end. I don't know what's happening.
Bands About Movies says, burn your eyes. 8 out of 10 stars. That's all he says. Burn your eyes. 8, and then he gives it an 8 out of 10. Or she. I don't know if Bands About Movies.
They give it an 8 out of 10.
Correct. Last good review, and this is a 10 out of 10. OMG. The most amazing film ever.
Okay, come on now.
Says the Jones Bones. Mad God is a work of artistic genius in all caps. This is the most fantastic and amazing and disturbing film I have ever seen. I began watching it out of sheer boredom. And then bam! I couldn't look away.
I never trust people who write reviews like this. It's like, no, you weren't.
Some of the scenes seem like they were plucked right out of my nightmares. 10 out of 10 stars. All right, here's the low. This is the lowest.
These will be good.
Did you get 1-star reviews? How low are they?
These are all 1 star, and there was only 6. So not very many people.
Imagine the motivated person who's like,
all right. Germ Wolf says, WTF. No plot, no storyline.
Just, nope, both of those are wrong.
Just a montage of weird mind effery slopped together and branded as a movie. Avoid it if you value the time you have left in your life, because you are not getting this hour and a half back ever. 1 out of 10 stars.
You could just walk away from this movie being like, I guess I didn't get it, and then not write a review saying,
yeah, like you watch it for like what?
Because like 8
minutes, and
is he really going to argue that there's not a plot to that movie? Because that's not true. There is.
Yeah, the first 10 minutes you'll know if you're going to keep going.
Not.
I do want to get into that.
It's not explained, and it's not really. Yeah, it's not like the easiest thing to follow. You have to try.
I'm not sure if we get into plot this week or our next week show, but I do want to ask what you feel like happened.
Okay. But I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's like there's a linear thread through it for the most part.
I would say there is. Yes.
So for someone to say it's just a bunch of images, it's like, no.
I would disagree with that.
It's not. Yeah, it's just not a traditional movie story type thing.
Well, we've got 2 more turd reviews.
Let's hear it.
Jamesish 357 says, 30 years? Need 3 more. It took 30 years to make this? I'd expect something a lot more than this. It makes even less sense than that Sturgill Simpson anime Sound and Fury. What?
I have no clue.
There's a Sound and Fury like animated thing.
It says Sturgill Simpson anime Sound and Fury.
That's like the William Faulkner book?
I don't know. I got so bored I turned it off after 17 minutes.
Well, then, no, just disregard what he said.
For everyone who spent years of your lives making this, you've wasted them.
That's a bold claim.
As for being grotesque, it isn't. Even compared to mainstream anime like Corpse Party or School Days. 1 out of 10 stars. Do you even know what he's referencing?
No.
Corpse Party?
I didn't know what the Sound and Fury he's talking about.
Corpse Bride?
No, Corpse Party, he says, or School Days. The other reference, he says Sturgill Simpson anime Sound and Fury. I don't know. Sorry, Jamesish. We're trying to understand.
But I mean, like, the grotesque imagery is like, well, yeah, it's not even. It's just meant to evoke things. It's not like actually seeing dead bodies and like gore and stuff. It's like, I mean,
it's meant to evoke.
It's meant to evoke things
emotion,
that are gross, but it's not like
But not for gross.
I don't really know what he's. Yeah, it's like.
Man. Well, I mean, he's supposed to be traversing through hell. I mean,
it's just like, why doesn't this guy just go murder someone if he wants the grotesque imagery so bad?
Yeah, we don't agree with you, Jamesish.
A post-apocalyptic anime music film featuring Sturgill Simpson's album with the same name as its soundtrack.
Oh, okay.
All right.
It came out like 3 years ago on Netflix.
Is that a feature film, feature length, or
41 minutes.
41 minutes?
Short.
Interesting. Well, put it on the list, maybe. The last one is Sonori Jimmy. Sonor Jimmy says, overhyped waste of 30 years. Don't waste your time. There's no plot, and it looks like what you might find in someone's junk drawer. There's no point. There's no point to it.
I found this movie in a junk drawer.
There's no point to it, and they just try to gross you out with weird images. 1 out of 10 stars.
I say they do. Yes, there's grossing out with weird images. The people saying there's no point to it. I mean, it's not an. No, I disagree. Even if you aren't fully don't fully grasp everything it's going for, it's going for something. Like, you can't just say like, no, there's no point. It's a random sequence of images. It's like,
Yeah,
there clearly is not a random sequence of images. Yeah, anyway.
It doesn't make sense to me, therefore it doesn't make sense
Yeah,
for anybody.
yeah. It's a weird thing to go online and say, but
Well, this leads us into our perfect next category, which is should or shouldn't you watch this? So because I hadn't seen this, you guys hadn't seen this. This is kind of a live 5 reasons why you should or shouldn't watch this. So I only have 1, and then we'll have to make up the other 4 because I wanted you guys to help me. So the first one is
This is like homework.
jeez. If you know who Phil Tippett is, the recent, which is interesting because I just finished watching the Industrial Light and Magic docuseries on Disney Plus, and it's very awesome, and it features him quite a bit. So if you're aware of him, I think you should watch this.
okay. If you like animation,
If you like-
another one.
Is he Return of the Jedi with like the AT-AT walkers and stuff?
Yeah.
It looks really similar. to the way
There's
the
some
character-
really
It reminded me of the whatchamacallit getting cut open, the tauntaun.
Yeah.
And that's what a lot of because
Well, and-
kind of like gross, disgusting, like bulging organ stuff.
there's like a fight scene between 2 like
Yes.
monsters, and it kind of feels like the Rancor
Yep.
fight with Luke. Yeah, there's some
It definitely, it was like, there's like a what's the Harryhausen?
Harryhausen.
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 Mr. Hausen.
Mr. Harryhausen.
Harry, there we go.
It's
I think that's
Harryhausen.
him. Yeah, the guy did all that stop motion special
Yeah.
effect. It's similar to that as well. If you like the animation like that, I would recommend it. I mean, they're also doing like pretty impressive stuff with like camera movement during the animation.
The sets are
Pretty
crazy
cool.
as
Yeah.
hell.
Yeah, there's so much to look at beyond what the focal point
Yeah.
is of the
And
shot.
there's a lot of like interesting design with like around it.
It's like an NC-17 Coraline kind of thing.
Yeah,
You can go
yeah,
to that
kind of
world.
like more gross Coraline type.
So that's number 2. If you like stop motion or animation, and I would say number 3, if you're okay with what Marines just said, is it's an NC-7. Not, I wouldn't say an NC-7.
Adult animation.
An adult animation.
But you don't want to say that either because that could mean something else.
Well, yeah, I guess it's not.
Yeah.
What was that one we watched a long time ago that was adult themed?
The Israeli like war one.
No, it was about the guy who
Waltz
had,
with Bashir was the.
Annapolis?
yeah, Annapolis.
Yeah, that was like about the Persian Revolution or like.
No. You're talking about Waltz with
Persepolis.
Bashir.
Annapolis, that.
Waltz with Bashir, Persepolis.
No, the one
Charlie
about
Kaufman one.
the
where
guy.
everyone sounds the same.
Oh yeah.
And he dates someone that has a different voice.
No, Anna.
Anomalisa.
That's it.
Anomalisa, yeah.
it.
So that would I say
Yeah,
is
yeah.
adult
That's
theme.
not
This is just for adults.
Yeah, it's like it's not made for kids and it's not made with
horror
fans.
fans in general.
They're probably not
Yeah,
gonna like.
I would say that's number 4. If you are a
Yeah.
horror fan,
If you like surreal kind of horror, like I love that there was no dialogue or it was really minimal. It feels like you're just watching a crazy nightmare unfold for about 90 minutes.
I like that.
Is
So
it-
number 4, if you're a horror fan, or you like horror visuals,
I was gonna say
this is for you.
For the last one, it'll be because you know how we talked about how like with Godzilla versus Kong, how it's not going to reward you from looking deeply at it, and trying to piece together like
The hidden
what's going
layers.
on. This is the opposite version of that. This one will reward you. There is meaning to be found that you may miss if
I
you
think
just
so.
watch it once. Like just on a like one view, and you're like, okay, that's like I said earlier. He's clearly like it's clearly exploring something.
Yeah.
And it's not, the most blatant thing, and it does.
I'm
It
really-
rewards you for looking closely through it.
It's
I'm
kinda
really
like-
excited to see your guys' interpretation.
Well, I mean,
I just want.
I don't even know what to make of that last half.
All right, that's 5 reasons why you should watch this. So if you go through that list and you're like, I doesn't check any of my boxes, then then do not.
It's certainly not for everyone. I wouldn't say.
Oh no, you'll be able to tell by the trailer too if you're interested.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah,
true. The trailer, I was surprised at how much kind of
what they're able
imagery,
to put in there.
that was in the trailer. But maybe that was just because it was
it's just going to be online only.
Online, for sure. But
that's interesting though, because he made this movie without knowing that there would ever be like a way to like market it and sell it to someone to have him to. Because like, I mean, if he had finished this back in '87, like, do you think he could have gotten a theater to show it? No.
Here's what I think. Based on that docuseries, which if you haven't seen it, it's very inspiring, regardless if you like Industrial Light Magic or George Lucas. It's how they came, all those very, very talented people coming together to form this like bunch of rebels and misfits to build this, team to make Star Wars. It's really cool. And there's a scene where he talks about his he has like ADD, and he struggles with like not depression, but like
a focus.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah.
And for some reason, the monotony of changing.
able to focus on
it
that.
would drive you crazy. Just like watch. That's what kills me about animation is that
it's like it's a passion that he's able to like that pierces through the veil.
It helps him cope with the stuff that he deals with, and that makes him even better at what he does. And it's just really amazing. And I like that now I can see what he probably channeled into some of his like nights and weekends and whatever throughout the many years he worked. He's like, I want to do this, but I'm doing this at work, kind of a thing. I really like it. It's cool. Let's jump into By the Numbers.
For God's sake, just give me the damn number.
So I apologize, listeners, but
there's not much information.
There's not much information.
I mean, there is one number. 30 years.
30 years. Yeah.
10 stars.
Normally I'm able to find not only like box office haul or streaming numbers. Like last week we reviewed Prey, and there was some staggering, streaming numbers.
Yeah, why didn't that get theater release? That was a fun movie.
It was a fun movie.
And it would have been fine as a theatrical release. You would be honest about that, it would have fit right in.
They could have done both. They could have on Hulu and in the theaters.
I think it was to help boost Hulu's numbers.
Right, maybe. I don't know.
For sure.
Anyway.
Yeah. So I don't have any like streaming numbers or anything. I only have 2 like number trivia points, but according to Phil Tippett, lots of work on the film was done on Saturdays by students who wanted to get some filmmaking experience. The scene with the mountain of dead soldiers was done by melting thousands of little army men together on wire, and it took 6 people 3 years to complete the scene. I don't remember that.
That's what I read that. I was trying to remember what part that was.
I mean, it would have been when it looked like World War I. He was in the Jeep
with all the tanks and everything.
Yeah, I don't remember specifically seeing melted army men, but
I don't know.
They may have done work to make it not that obvious.
Maybe
that's
scene
what it was
or something. Yeah, I don't know. Over the years, Phil Tippett released 3 short clips, which you mentioned earlier, Cole. 3 short clips of this movie, which made up about half of the full 82-minute version that was eventually screened at various film festivals.
His version of teasers.
Yeah. I don't need to see them because I've seen the full thing. That's it for this week. But do we want to get into what we thought of this, or should we just end it here? And
I would say end it here because everything else is going to be like interpretation and like
might be like not spoiler.
Yeah, and
spoilery,
as someone who like came into it pretty blind, I think that you get a lot out of just trying to piece it together yourself.
Just
because it's not obvious, but there is a lot of symbolism, like in its blatant symbolism. So you're like, okay, well, what's he getting at? And so you're trying to piece it together yourself. And,
okay, I like that.
Yeah, and I think that's a good reason to see it. So I wouldn't really put that in like a. I mean, it's technically a spoiler, I guess, but not. This movie can't really be spoiled.
I think what we're getting at is we don't want to share our interpretation until you guys have seen it. So we're giving you the opportunity. If you want to go see Mad God from 2021, please do so now, and then come visit us next week, and you will be able to hear all of our internal joys and weird interpretations of this movie. With that, I'm on the social medias I dare you to message the great Popcorn Priest at Popcorn Priest. I love movies and would love it if you'd share the love. Share this with the movie lover in your life. It's very simple. Just hit a button and then share it with someone. It's very easy. Thank you. Another way to support the show is by throwing a few shekels at the priest. Visit patreon.com/popcorn priest for details and see what extra perks you can enjoy. And lastly, the easiest way to support the show and the most free is like, subscribe, and give us a 5-star review. Easier than starting Cole's Tesla car. As always, thanks for listening. And thanks to my special guests, Normal Guy Tribe.
That's right.
Normal Guy Chris.
And Ride Like the Wind Tribe. And Up in the Air Cole.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you guys.
Flying high on stage, crisscross.
That's right.
We'll see you guys for part 2 of Mad God.
I totally
Next
forgot about
week.
that.